Hey guys, I'm Comeback Craig, and today we're going to talk about the Nexus. The Nexus is the link between one thing and another thing. You need the Nexus to establish service connection. So think of it like this. To get service connected, you need to have a diagnosis, current diagnosis, and a Nexus. And then once those two things are accomplished, then the symptoms is where your rating comes from. So if you're already service connected for something, you don't need a Nexus or a diagnosis because you're already service connected. 0%, 10, whatever low number it is. You just need to work on increasing the symptoms on a DBQ or an independent medical opinion. Check out my med team if you need somebody and your doctor won't do it for you. But we're going to talk about the diagnosis and the Nexus in order to establish service connection. Think of it like a motorcycle. And I know, I get it. There's people out there like me that'll be like, yeah, I only need one wheel. I'll just drive wheelies everywhere. Yeah, you need two wheels on a motorcycle. Let's use a Harley, not a dirt bike, right? So you need both things. They're both equally important. So if you see the diagnosis or you know you have the diagnosis, can I use this as a Nexus or will this be good enough for a Nexus? What's good enough for a Nexus is an actual Nexus. You don't want to replace it with something that smells like a Nexus and quacks like a Nexus. You want a Nexus. So this is a statement that's written by a medical doctor. The Nexus is the link between the disability you're trying to file a claim for and service connection. Direct service connection, secondary if you've been out longer for a year. You have tinnitus and you want to file a claim for migraines because that's a new disability. A doctor needs to make that link. Us as laymen, we could be like, well, yeah, I have this tinnitus over here and these migraines came on after the tinnitus. So yeah, it's caused by the tinnitus. That's great, but we're not doctors. You need a doctor to make that opinion. And more importantly, when you go to your CNP exam, you will be in front of a doctor and he is going to make an opinion. So you want to get your own doctor to come in here with some degree of certainty, which is at least as likely as not. It's your private doctor or your VA doctor, any qualified medical professional, actually. They could be PAs and nurse practitioners as well. But if you're going up against a doctor, you might as well have a doctor going up against a doctor so they don't discount it. And yeah, I get it. CNP examiners are filled with nurse practitioners and PAs and all that kind of stuff. PA means physician assistant, but you're going to embark on this thing for 6 months. You're going to file the claim. And if you're like, well, I don't really have the Nexus, so I'll just give it a shot and wing it. You just wasted 6 months. I'm telling you right now, you need to have the Nexus. So if you're service connected for something, you could test this. Get your VA claims file and go look at your past decision where you got service connected for something. When you read through the notes and the CNP exams, they've been doing CNP exams longer than I've been out of the military. So go review all those notes. You'll see, yep, there's a diagnosis. Yep, there's a Nexus. There'll be a Nexus in there somewhere. So if the Nexus is a little sketchy, maybe you have a VA doctor and he's like, yeah, well, maybe the migraines are linked to the tinnitus somehow, like it's not strong and clear and in their face. You're leaving it up to the VA rater, and that's the whole reason they send you to a CNP exam. They're like, yeah, I'm looking through all these files and I can't see it. So I'm just going to send it to a CNP examiner so I get that Nexus statement. Essentially, it's an independent medical opinion paid for by the VA. They're working for the VA. They're not working for us. We're not paying for it. We're not even doing splits with it, right? It might be a little different if I was paying half and the VA was paying half. But yeah, I'm just going to get my own guy and pay him the money and have him say what needs to be said and cross T's and dot I's and all that kind of stuff. So that's what the CNP exam is usually to get that Nexus statement. So if you already have one and then you go to the CNP exam and that guy doesn't agree with you, at least it's doctor versus doctor. This is something you can win on appeal. They may discount it. They may say he's out of state or blah, blah, blah. None of that's legal, but who's the VA to follow laws? That's what a Nexus is. Think of it like a motorcycle. You need two wheels. Yeah, I get it. Some people will drive motorcycles around. Not a, 2008 Electroglide Harley that weighs 999 pounds. You're not going to be riding that thing around on a wheelie all the time. But there's a few heroes out there. I used to be one of them. I'm no longer. 2 wheels. You need both of them to ride a motorcycle, period. 2 things to prove service connection: diagnosis and a Nexus. Check out my bootcamp if you want to learn more about the VA claims process, and I'll see you in the next video.